what is now, Commissioner Anderson and Commissioner Dow, is cut off those corners because the angle it was before.
Okay.
And I think they're, told me that we need to make sure that it doesn't.
We need to call early.
Because at the time, it was Commissioner Ball.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the Committee on Government Operations to order. Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Scott. Commissioner Clark Coleman. Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Killeen. Chair Webb.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, approval of the December 3rd, 2019 meeting minutes.
Thank you.
Support.
Item's been moved and supported. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Item passes. Next item.
C, unfinished business. There is none.
Okay, thank you.
D1, communication from Human Relations Division, forwarding a report of current activities and achievements of the Human Relations Division for fiscal year 2019-2020.
I noticed that we have Ms. Lee with us.
Actually, it says in her
Is
division.
that hers?
No, it's
Oh, it's Victoria's. Oh, that's right. Is Victoria with us? I was just thinking that. You know what? You're so funny. I was just thinking. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, that's right. Claire does 20 jobs, but this isn't one of them. Absolutely. No, Victoria isn't with us?
No.
Oh, yes, she is. There she is. Boy, your timing is impeccable.
I apologize. I got caught on a maze in the elevator. It kept going up when I'm coming down.
That's all right. You're here now. So that's all that matters. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. So would you like to give us a little overview on your accomplishments?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director of Human Relations Division and Human Relations Business Inclusion. From the reorg, they have bestowed upon us a little bit more clarity. As I teasingly say, we don't get as many resumes. And part of our report and what we've been specifically talking about are the inclusion goals. You're seeing them and you hear about them with the criminal justice complex, how we are looking at the workforce, making sure that we have residents working on our projects. And it drills down all the way into, for example, economic development, a lot of their projects as well. You'll see inclusion goals on theirs as well as Wayne County businesses. And part of what you're seeing is we've had approximately 26 outreaches over the past year, so we've almost tripled our numbers.
Good job.
And part of that has been drilling down into the different communities and, old school beating the bushes, finding the small businesses, making sure they're registered, making sure they're certified, and that they know about the different business opportunities that are out here. You'll see a goal quite often attached to the projects are 30% Wayne County businesses. And again, Wayne County-based businesses. I'm going to go off track just a little bit because it answers one of the requests. For years, we were looking to do reciprocity with the city of Detroit. In fact, we literally almost got to the table, and then the city of Detroit changed the procurement ordinance for themselves, which governs them, versus ours. So for the city of Detroit, while a business can be Detroit headquartered, when we look at the same criteria and match it up against Wayne County's criteria, they do not match, so we cannot grandfather them in. One of the differences, you can be Detroit headquartered, and you might have a two-man shop in downtown Detroit, but everybody else is in Macomb County. The difference with our procurement ordinance, we are looking for real investment, and that being said, we are looking for a minimum of 30% of your full-time workforce coming out of that location. So it really is not just about the physicality of your location, but who's in that location. Are Wayne County residents part of your workforce? Because we want to recycle those dollars within our community, not just the building itself, but our residents. So that has been one of the big disparities that has kept Wayne County Human Relations Business Inclusion from being able to provide reciprocity. Now, one of the good things we do tell people in the outreach, if you are City of Detroit headquartered, already certified, you have approximately 80% of the paperwork in front of you, and you're probably 80% of the way there. That does help them get organized, but as far as being able to just do a straight reciprocity, it would actually dilute the pool that we have as well. It would go against the procurement ordinance. So
Sure.
that has been one of the biggest questions for us. We will be meeting with the City of Detroit early 2020. We're trying to get some more synergies, but right now, where they're headed, while we're headed in similar directions, how we're getting there is a little different.
Sure. I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
26 outreach meetings, is that what I heard?
Yes.
Where did you do those?
Literally all over the place. We did approximately 5 out, 2 out at the airport, and then 3 of them right there in the surrounding between Inkster and Ecorse. We've done approximately, I'd say, 6 or 7 through MDOT, and part of what we do with MDOT is we can use their facility right down here on Fort Street. And what we do is we've partnered with MDOT with the DBE program, and they have a bonding and educational program.
What is that program? What is it?
The DBE, which is the United States Department of Transportation, they have the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program.
Okay.
That's the one we're the certifying agency for. So we also have Wayne County disadvantaged businesses, meaning they are DBE, but they're also within the borders of Wayne County. So we partner with MDOT for a lot of the workshops. One of them is the Bonding Education Program. And the bonding education program has come through the Small Business Administration. And literally, it is a cohort of classes. It's about 15 classes. And they'll start with accounting, understanding as a small business what accounting needs to look like, accounting practices. They'll go over insurance. So I'm a teacher/presenter at a multitude of those as well.
So the county is actually doing that?
We're partnering with MDOT because it's a
Okay.
regional program.
Sure.
So, for example, you'll see us talk about in our report the MUCP, which is the certified program. That's the City of Detroit, which is DDOT. State is MDOT, and then Wayne County is the third agency for the DBE program. So what we do is we try to do wraparound services when we can. So, for example, if your business is county-based, but you also meet the criteria for DBE, we'll try to make sure we pull you into the DBE program, which is the federal program, because of programs such as the bonding. So we can get you into those programs, and a lot of the programs are free educational. And why we're really, really pushing those right now, they're ramping up a small business. So if I start off and I'm small, I have my basic insurance, but I might be only able to get a bond for $100,000. Then how do I align my business practices, upgrade everything where I can get ramp up capital, where I can bond beyond the $100,000? Because if you look at construction in the area, when you look at anything significant, most people need $300,000 bonding capacity minimum.
Yeah.
Then when you get into a significant portion, meaning something between 500,000, you need $3 million. So those are our partners. We do those as well.
Well, I love the work that you're doing. I'm just curious, out of the 26 outreach meetings that you held, you made the comment all over the place. How many of them were out county?
Probably a little less than half. We've done several in Taylor, again, Inkster, Ecorse, couple, we did one, I think it was Melvindale. I can get you the complete list.
Would you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd just be curious to see that, because I did get an email, a couple of different emails that you sent to all the commissioners about,
Yep.
sharing the information with local businesses, which I thought was awesome, and I appreciated that. But as far as hearing it in my communities, I didn't hear it. So I just would like to see, I'd like to see out,
Oh, absolutely.
in Canton and in
Yep.
Westland and in Redford and wherever,
And just
all
so
over
you know,
Harper Woods.
you can definitely request. Part of what we've done is if you look at us over the years, for example, one time we were really heavy in Detroit. So we made a concerted effort, and we were doing Canton at one point. We did quite a few at one point at Redford because we're using the VFW. So what we try to do is move around, and then sometimes when we partner, somebody else has the location. I would gladly share the information, and if you find within your district, if you have some organizations that you know are heavy into construction or whatever, and you want me to literally reach out and touch them, shoot them to me. I'd love to add them to the list.
Thank you.
We try to grow it, but obviously, we're not as big as we'd like to be.
Sure.
So you can always reach out, and we can ensure in our scheduling for 2020 that we go to a specific area.
Okay, great. I have Commissioner Basham, then I have Commissioner Scott.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you know Jim Perry?
No.
Well, he's the president of the Downriver Community Conference. They deal with folks looking for careers, all sorts of program services, even stuff for the vets, job seekers, workforce development. They do lots and lots of federal grants, economic development. He's big time, and Downriver is a third of Wayne County. And anyway, I live in Taylor. I haven't heard anything about anything going on in Taylor. So how do you publicize that to, at least you would think elected officials, I should know. I don't know. So
We
if I don't
usually
know, how do
send-
you expect the residents to know?
Well, part of
That's
how we
very
do
sad.
that is anybody that is registered in our database, and I grab both databases, not just the current one, but our old database as well. I use our database on the federal and on the local side, and we send them out. We
So I'm
send
in
it
the
out
database?
to the organizations. Every single business that you have that registers, we send them. We also do send it out in,
I'm sorry, the reason they're not registering is because they don't know.
Correct.
no, we also send them to the associations to get them out.
The Downriver Conference, the Conference of Western Wayne,
We
like that
send
kind
them
of thing.
all out.
That's
We
the
also
president.
send
If you
them.
don't know, if you didn't know who he was, my thing is, Jim Perry has been a president a long time of the DCC, very big organization. I've been in political arena in local, state, and county for a number of years. I didn't know anything about any, so it's like, I would like to be able to help support you, but if I don't know, how can I support you if I don't know anything about it, or if Jim Perry don't know anything about it?
Okay, we will absolutely. And I do believe Jay has it. We've been sending the flyers for disbursement amongst the commissioners. So we will continue to do so. What I'd like to do is if you have a preference email versus just the district box, let me know that as well. I don't know if that would come through, if you want me to go through Andy for that, Candrivas. We can do that as well, but we meet with the different organizations and try to get it out, as well as I do believe a lot of them, we try to post them on the websites as well.
Yeah, even though he lives in Grosse Pointe, Andy is from Downriver, so.
Oh, yeah, no, we've done two at Wayne County Community College downriver. That's one of our biggest locations. You've got the free parking. The last one we did, I think we had about 160 people there, so.
And the airport.
And we do quite a few at the airport. And then the community center right up the street from the airport as well.
And then Commissioner Scott had a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is this just construction businesses or all the businesses?
No, it's all businesses. So what we do is literally anybody that's in Wayne County, whether you are catering, whether you're construction, we try to get them in the different programs because sometimes the bids can be cyclical. And I'll give you an example. Construction's hot and heavy right now, so you see a big push for that. But part of the reason I go after the smaller ones, I just registered 2 new catering companies. We have a restaurant that is being certified and registered because when we do outreach or you do a different program and you need to get food or coffee, et cetera, to reach out to our businesses first to support the ones that we're doing. So it's not just construction.
Okay, so how do they reach out to you?
Part of what we do is we do flyers, we have our phone numbers, with our different outreaches. We have the web page as well. And every single outreach, we also ask the entity to post. That's why we've been trying to do so many workshops all over the place to come to the people, besides us just being here, but being visible. We've gone to, for example, the Veterans Roundtable Business Meeting. I went early last year and presented to a lot of the businesses, trying to engage them. So we literally try to beat the bushes and find different businesses and go to different meetings.
Now, that meeting that Andrea, what's his name? Kendrinas is having tomorrow morning out in Western Wayne.
They will have our information as well. And Dawn should be out there.
Where is it
That's-
in Western Wayne?
Are you talking
It was-
about Andy or are you talking about Dave Schreiber?
No, I'm talking about Andy. That's who I got the information from. I think it's in my phone.
Is that the Federal Aid Committee?
Yeah, federal aid. Is that
Oh, that's
have
actually
anything to do
downriver, I
with?
think, at Taylor.
See, there's
Isn't
two
it?
tomorrow. There's two,
It's
there's
the
two
federal
tomorrow.
one.
One is a federal, and I think that's the one Andy is
Right,
dealing with.
Andy
But
is-
then there's an additional one that is Economic Development, Dave Schreiber. I just saw that one today.
And where's that at?
That one is in Dearborn, the Performing Arts Center. So what we will do, if we can't do both, we are constantly sending our information and trying to split so that they can share the information as well.
Okay, but you're
that
separate
one-
from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But one of the things that we try to do is support each other, just like you have districts. So even if we cannot physically be there, because I'm going to be at the one over here, so I can't get downriver at the same time, or downriver and can't get downtown, we try to send our materials as well with them so that they have them, so that we can register them. And again, as I said, you know, many of you know, if you just tell me somebody, I will find out who they are, make sure I get in touch with them. Literally, I've walked into stores and shops and sat down with the owners and make sure that they get the information.
Victoria, what I think would be beneficial is if you worked with if you worked with the commissioners in the different districts, you know, to have, when you're hosting these or when you're thinking about hosting these, to get you a location in their district to be able to do it, and then give them the run time. Say, you're gonna do one in Taylor in March, you're gonna do one in Livonia in April.
Yep.
And then give us the packets and the information, the contact information, and then, you know, I would take it to the Conference of Western Wayne, I'd take it to all my chambers of commerce, and we could get it out, and they would have prep time to get there. Then you have someone come out there and show them how they can register their businesses for county contracts and that type of thing, and then get them all in there. And then going forward, they'll be on your list, and they can get everything going forward. We won't have to be a part of it, but if you needed us, at least, I don't want to speak for all of them, but I think most of us would like our businesses to be able to have this opportunity. And so I told you I didn't hear nothing about it going on in my way, and then you just heard Ray say he didn't hear nothing about it, so,
Gladly. Now, that's what we've historically done. I know that we've had several, we had Commissioner Colleen at one point, Alona Varga. We try to go in districts, so I'm literally trying to be strategic, but I will absolutely, what would be helpful is tell me, and again, I don't know if you want me to go through Andy, or just who do you want per office that I can pinpoint? Because I'd love to set the calendar now. If you have a specific one, you got it.
2/3 of Wayne County is Conference Western Wayne and Downriver Community Conference. That's 13 to 15 communities apiece. A simple presentation between the Conference Western Wayne or a simple presentation conference of Downriver Community Conference, they meet once a month. That covers all the mayors and township supervisors outside of Detroit.
That's an excellent
And so the thing of it is, if somebody was to present to them,
they can help.
at 2 meetings, and you cover 2/3 of Wayne County. The other person you said, mention a name, Jim Perry,
Yeah,
Jim Perry.
workforce.
Yeah, that's an excellent suggestion, and then they could help you do the outreach into those communities. That's excellent. It's right on, right?
Jordan too. Jordan Selleck.
Jordan Selleck, yeah, working for Conference of Western Wayne over there. Any other, okay, next,
No, actually, we have to.
who do we have?
We need
We
a
have
motion.
a motion?
We have no motion.
Oh,
Move to
okay,
receive and file, Madam.
thank you. Can I get a support?
Support.
Thank you. I got a motion to receive and file, and I got a support. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming, Victoria.
No problem.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and we'll look forward to working closer with you to. We'll look forward to working closer with you to get you out there. I think that what Ray just suggested was spot on with the conferences. that would save you a lot of legwork, and you could reach all those different communities, and they could take it from there as far as bringing you into their different communities.
Oh, absolutely, I appreciate that.
That was right on. Okay, very good. Okay. So, next item.
Item 2, communication from Corporation Counsel forwarding the Department of Corporation Counsel settlement report for November 2019.
Madam Chair, since there's no settlements to report this month, I
Right.
move to receive and file.
Thank you.
Support?
Item's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Item passes. Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a retroactive modification to a cooperative purchase with Oracle America, Inc.
Okay, so why is it retroactive? Is there anybody here? Yeah. Oh, hi. Hi, Stacy. Thank you.
I'm somebody. I'm
I
here.
I know you're not from IT, though.
Oh, hardly.
Stacy Johnson, Contract Manager. The contract is retroactive because of the co-op. I had to wait, the co-op was renewed.
Oh, that's the same problem that we had with Blue Water,
Yes.
was the co-op.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, well, I know that we like the idea of working through my deal, to get better costs, savings, but, I don't know, some of these co-ops, I think that we'd be better off without sometimes, but because we get a lot of retroactivity because of it. Anybody get a comment on this one?
I'll move it for approval, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay, the item's been moved and supported. This is just to continue support of PeopleSoft and JD Edwards as they limp along until we replace them.
Correct.
Got you. Well, we got to do that. God bless you all that even keep putting the Band-Aids on. All right, we got a motion to support. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Nice. Item passes. Next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of modification to a contract with a 1-year option to renew with Amwins Group Benefits.
So moved.
Okay, item's been moved. Item's been moved and supported. Claire, please join us at the table. She almost got away. Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have we heard from the retirees at all about how this company has been working for them since they're the
Yes.
object of the affection? Have we?
I think we should let Claire answer that question. I haven't heard from him as much as I used to hear from
She's
him.
not a retiree.
No, but she probably gets, I'm sure people got her number and she gets her earphone.
But we haven't heard from,
Oh, the actual retirees?
yeah,
No.
okay.
I haven't heard, when I go to some Chapter 38 retiree meetings and stuff, and it's really quieted down, so I don't
Yeah.
know. They used to even call my office saying how
Well-
horrendous, but I don't know.
I guess they would have said something to us had they had real concerns about this
I
company.
would agree. What do you think, Claire? Do you have a perspective on that? I just would be interested if you do.
I do, thank you. Good afternoon, Claire Mason Lee here in the capacity of Director of Benefits and Disability Administration. So what we've done over the last 2 years, I've held this position now for 2 years, we've done a lot more education through Amwins and through TASC, who actually administers the HRA. We've done a lot more communication, trying to send out more notices, letters. We've worked with the retiree union group to make sure that the information is getting to the retirees, that they understand what this program is about. We felt that a lot of the questions and concerns we got when I first started in this role was that people didn't even realize they had the HRA and what was it about. Some didn't even realize that there had been a settlement back in 2016 that required us to have this program in place. So I feel that maybe the reason why it's quieted down some is that more communication. In fact, we send out 2 to 3 letters, meaning Amwins on our behalf, sends about 2 to 3 letters a year now, reminding people about what's going on with their account, how much they have in it, sending them mailers, reminding them they now have debit cards they can use versus sending in receipts to get a check back. So just like we use our HSA card, they have those cards now, then when they go to the doctor, they can use it, to pay for expenses. So I think that has kind of quieted down about how the HRA process works. But we're in the middle right now of a RFP And that's why this contract's been extended for the year, because it currently expires at the end of this year, December 31st. We have, the RFP has closed, we have gotten bids in, so we're in the review process, and our hope is that we will identify who will be the next company, the vendor that will manage this program for us.
Is that gonna be a retroactive contract?
No, because that's why we made sure.
We
this
don't know
wasn't-
yet.
Well, we hope not. This is why we did it for this one, extension for a year.
Okay.
So it gives us enough time to finish the review. We've already started our review of the bidders, the proposals. And so when we come back after the first of the year, we'll have our first review meeting, and then hopefully we'll be in place. The contract negotiations is what takes the longest.
Sure.
So hopefully it won't take us a year, but that's my
Well, I
desire.
appreciate the fact that you got that big run and start, that you started early.
Yes.
It's good stuff. Commissioner Kling?
No,
you have
that
any other
answered my
comment?
question. I was going to ask about the RFP, and hopefully in 6-7 months here, we'll be looking at a contract, either renewing them or somebody else. So,
Yes,
okay.
hopefully.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark Coleman?
I think one of the reasons that things have quieted down is that people have gotten used to
Yeah.
the change, as well as they've now figured out that they can go on their spouse's insurance and then still draw the stipend, which is really a better, which is pretty good. You know, before each one had their own insurance. This way, now, what they've figured out is that, well, I'll just go on my husband's insurance, and I'll still get the stipend, which will be money that I can use to pay co-pays and other sorts of things. I think that that's primarily why things have quieted down. They've learned how to work that system. It was new. When it was new, it was frightening, and people have now realized that it's not all bad news.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that's a good observation. And I also think that you, on your end, have responded to some of the questions and comments and concerns and tweaked the internal process and made it more efficient and more effective in the debit cards and making it more user-friendly too. So it's been, I think on both sides.
We're trying, yes.
So that's a good thing. Commissioner Kling?
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that. They can drop the county insurance, go on their spouses or whatever insurance, and still get the stipend?
They can,
Well, so for clarification, the persons who are on the stipend program are persons who can no longer receive the county insurance.
Right.
So they're receiving the stipend in lieu
Okay.
of.
Right.
And so
There we go.
this
But they
particular HRA account is for those who are 65 and older. And so what they also can do with these monies that they didn't realize before, if they do get Medicare Part B insurance coverage,
Right.
they can use our HRA funds to pay for that. And so that's the part about going on to the other insurance, getting the hospitalization coverage.
This is a much better discussion than we had 2-3 years ago.
yeah, because
For sure.
when word goes out that you're going to eliminate health care, people get real crazy.
You think?
And then, but once they learn how to work it,
Right.
they find out that, it's not all
Get
bad.
into a new groove.
Yeah, so it's not all bad.
Very good. Thank you. Do I have any other comments? Okay, with that, do I have a motion? We have a motion and support. Great. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, item passes. Thank
Okay,
you so much,
thank you very much, and
Claire.
happy holidays to everyone.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas to
too.
you. Yes. Next.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a modification to a grant agreement with the State of Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs.
Hi, Marianne. Thanks for being here today. So this is for our Michigan Independent Defense Commission. And you want to give us the update on this modification? Just hold it down for a sec. It'll turn bright green.
There you go.
Mary Ann Talon, Project Consultant and Corporation Counsel. So a brief update is that the MIDC has approved our compliance plan request for 2020, but we don't yet have a grant from the MIDC. Once we get that grant, we'll get it through the commission. And then after that, we'll start receiving those funds. But until then, we're running up against the current grant expiring again. You might recall that we were here a month or so ago to get an extension, but that extension expires at the end of this month, December. So we went back to the MIDC, and we've got the second extension that won't expire until we start receiving the 2020 money.
There you go. So you won't be back again next month.
I won't be back next month, but and assuming I won't be back on any more extensions, the only problem is I don't think we'll run out of money, but some counties are running out of money, and they still don't have the 2020 grant. So we at least are not in that position.
That's good to know. Commissioner Kleen has a,
Is that a result of the budget impasse?
I don't think so. The funds have been appropriated. I think they're just really backed up at the MIDC. You know, it's a brand-new system for the state.
Yeah, because I see even, you know, in the news, even with this so-called agreement on the budget, there's still 400 million in limbo up
Right.
there. The paperwork indicates a total of 24 million, 17 million in a grant, and about 7.5 million in, I guess, general fund dollars.
Local
going
share,
in.
yes.
Was that our contribution prior to this? We were putting 7 million in, or?
Kevin Haney would say no. The 7.5 million is our local share, and the local share was determined based on the spending in the 3 fiscal years prior to the state enacting the MIDC Act. Those 3 fiscal years were 10, 11, and 12. So our indigent costs were actually higher in those years than they have been in recent years, I think in large part because of the loss of population in the county.
So the state took an average of 11, 12?
10, 11, and 12,
And said this is going to be your mandatory?
your local share going forward, yes.
They recalculate that at some point?
Well, every year it gets adjusted up, generally, so every year it's going to go up from there.
Not a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with a lot of more spending, I just think it should come from the state. It's the state's responsibility. So
Well-
it's one more way to push down the
Want 'em
state's
to take our courts
responsibility.
back, damn it.
This is one more way they're pushing down their responsibilities on the county.
No.
But
Okay, and I certainly don't expect you to do a mind
right.
probe of Mr. Haney, but any idea why he would say no? That's not what we've been spending?
because he's right, the cost of indigent defense went down from those 3 years because the population, I think the reason it went down is because the
Okay.
population in Wayne County went down.
So his argument is it should be a lower number,
this year.
Yes,
from 10, 11, 12.
yes, and he
That
would
if
be
you took
right.
data from
And he would
15,
be,
16, 17, it should be a lower number.
he would be right. But that's not what the statute said. The statute said we had to take data from 10, 11, and 12, so.
It's the golden rule. Those with the gold make the rules. Okay, thank you.
Any other
I
questions?
guess.
Any other questions? Is
Do you
there?
have a motion?
Nope.
Move approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I got a motion? Support. And support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, item passes.
Thank you.
So much for coming. Okay, next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of modification 3 to a 2-year contract with the 1-year option to renew with the Mike Cox Law Firm.
Okay.
We got to drag somebody in from the hallway? There we go. Get in the hot seat. There you go. Oh,
Good afternoon, I'm Pranitha Jarrett, I'm the principal attorney for the municipal section.
get your mic, please. Yep, once the green light comes, there you go.
Okay, am I on?
You are.
Good afternoon, I'm Pranitha Jarrett, I'm the principal attorney with Wayne County Corporation Counsel. I have with me one of the senior partners from the Mike Cox Law Firm, who is Jackie Cook, and she is our lead attorney assigned to the DOJ investigation matter. We are here today to ask for your approval of the modification 3 for the law firm to continue the work on the legal services required for the investigation, and we're prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
This is adding
Yeah.
money, so, total,
You're right, we just did about a month ago. Threw
Yeah.
some more money in, but now it's an additional.
Yes,
I
in
s-
September.
yeah, I said the exact same thing when I saw this on the agenda again, and I went over it with Joe. I asked him, it seems like we have Mr. Cox's law firm in front of us every other meeting. And so the total on just this particular issue is 435, and the total amount, 1,000, and the total amount of contracts with his firm, 666,000, with Mike Cox's firm. Yes, Commissioner Basham.
Was this bid out?
We have a standard package that we use. It's called a request for qualifications. And we send it, so it is solicited every, the next one, this particular solicitation lasts until December of 2021. And so we are allowed to select from that list of approved law firms, of which Mike Cox was one of them.
No, I said, was this bid out? And you're giving me comments relative to how you select.
Right.
What I'm talking about is having all lawyers in Wayne County that have the qualifications to actually bid or not bid on the process through,
Yes.
maybe it's my deal or whatever. But anyway, I'm talking about having the public know that there's contracts out there to bid it out. And
Yes,
so I didn't actually get my exact answer I wanted, but
okay.
maybe I could go to Corp or Commission Council.
I'm gonna get you that answer.
Okay. May I just try to clarify? And I'm
Sure.
hoping, I hope
Sure,
that I do.
sure.
But we do have a process that we followed for many years, which includes working with our procurement department and providing notice to the public. So we do that. We then receive proposals from them. They have to meet certain
To
qualifications.
that point, you say providing notices to the public.
Yes.
How do you do that to the public?
Through the procurement division. They do it through notifying current bidders that we already have, and I think that they also put notices in the newspaper, and I'm not sure what other methods of notification they do, but the procurement division works very closely with us to make sure that there's notification provided to,
So for sure, you're saying you put notices in the newspaper? Which newspaper?
I believe they do, but I would have to check.
So you're
with
not,
that.
so you're not really sure?
Yeah, I didn't want to, I didn't want to interrupt, but, Joe?
Though that procurement, I mean, almost all the procurements, including this one, are on bidnet.com, which is the county, many counties in the state use that. That's a standard platform, for that. In fact, that's a national platform.
But they don't do mailings to, advertisements, regular newspapers.
I don't know. All I know is bidnet.
I know, it's just, who knows that they're even looking, and who knows how to get their name on a certain list at a certain time, and all of that, you can't I'm just saying. That's the
Madam
stuff
Chair?
that goes on. Yes, Commissioner Clean.
Yeah, I would like to clarify this with Commission Council. My understanding, Council, is that, and I think this is where we put it on the BidNet or whatever, that we're seeking RFQs. We're looking for people to submit their qualifications through there. And maybe it goes in the Detroit Legal News too. But then, once you make the list,
Yes.
the RFQ list, I want Commission Council, from there, how are the selections made? Because it's really not an RFP that people are bidding on.
That's right.
We're looking at who's on our RFQ list.
That's right.
And how is that selection then made from the RFQ list, Council?
Through the chair, you are correct that per the procurement ordinance, they do an RFQ. They determine if the firms who bid, who submit their qualifications are qualified. They put them on the list. Corp Counsel then is allowed to select from that list. The procurement ordinance does not offer a process by which those individuals are selected. Therefore, there's not necessarily consistency from our perspective from what we've noticed in how firms or how many firms, but I'll have to defer to the department because I don't know if they have an internal process or procedure for that, or how that works internally, but our ordinance does not address the selection once they're on the list as far as who actually gets business and how often from the county.
Yeah, so this has come up before, Madam Chair. Thank you, council. And so this is all in compliance with our procurement ordinance
Yes,
for richer or poorer, for sickness and in health, and
it is.
all of that stuff. So it'd be up to the commission to
Bingo.
do some sort of amendment or working with, if people really want to get into that.
Yes.
But this is here today,
Right.
and I don't know if commission council would disagree, that all the right boxes have been checked and this is properly before us and conforms to the procurement ordinance.
Yep, she's
I'm not
shaking
hearing
her
any,
head.
and I
no.
don't hear any disagreement.
She agreed.
To our knowledge, based on staff review, yes,
Yeah.
everything seems to be proper and correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's the gap is.
Caveats, attorneys always have caveats.
Yeah.
To
it's
the best of our knowledge, at
Yes.
this point in time.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Looking at this, and I don't know if I didn't mention it, see it in the last paperwork. This investigation is going back several years. And it looks like it's before WellPath was working over at our jails.
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's correct. We received a letter from the Department of Justice on October 15th of 2018, but they were looking at possible alleged violations of ADA related to medical care, medicine administration, medical equipment, and the time frame was 2015. It started with 2015.
17, I think.
Yeah, as far as the documents.
Right. So they,
Requested.
yeah.
They go back to 20.
So they're looking at us when the county staff was running the show over there, not
Well, they started.
CCS and
Yes.
WellPath.
It started with the complaints initially were, and the documents that they requested go back to 2015.
Yeah, so this
But
is
it-
in the time period when we were running things, not an outside firm.
Right. However, I can say that it is, in all fairness, it went back that far, but they continue to, they've done on-site visits, as we've advised the commission twice, and they have had continuing issues that we've had to address on a weekly basis that the firm has been currently with
yeah.
the current administration.
Because I think we should recall the audit that we recently received on WellPath.
Yes.
From the Auditor General. I'm sure that's part of all the conversation here. So the DOJ is visiting us on a kind of a regular basis. When was the last time they were here?
No, their last visit was May 29th through 31st of 2019. They were here for 3 days
Yeah,
with their
okay.
medical expert. However, we are on our 16th production, and the firm has helped provide over 25,000 documents in terms of their involvement and what they're looking at and what they're asking.
What's the 15th production?
No, the 16th. I think we're on the 16th.
Well, my paperwork says 15, but regardless, what is it?
sorry.
What is a production?
A production of documents that they've asked for, and I'll let
So it's
Jackie
like
address that.
almost like a FOIA kind of a deal. We want you to produce these documents for us.
Right. And they also contact us on a regular basis, and the firm has been involved in requests that they have asked for if they receive information from an inmate or an
For
inmate's
sure, I
family
got
or
all of that, yeah, I
concern,
just,
so, yes.
so it's not only from 3-4 years ago when we were running things, but they're also looking at the current situation.
Correct.
One of the questions that was asked was, provide brief reasoning for additional funding in just a short period of time.
Yes.
In that answer, part of the answer, administration responded saying, other investigations have lasted up to 3 years. Now, is that just a general comment on how long DOJ investigations, or are there 3 other investigations?
No, and thank you very much for asking for that clarification. That was just to give this body an idea of how long investigations may take. So this was not directed at us. We don't
Really,
have
the
3
feds could be
other.
investigating stuff for 15 years? I'm
Well,
shocked. Okay.
But so what we were saying was, we have looked into this and,
Yeah.
and we have found that there have been
Right.
some that have lasted
So
over 3
explicitly, counsel, I'm going to ask you, are there any other investigations going on in relation to the jails and how we have been treating our
Well,
residents?
I can tell you a couple of things. Number one, the one that I'm involved in and familiar with is the DOJ investigation that started in October of 2018. However, I can tell you that MDOC has recently completed their inspection, and one of the things that, that they wrote in their letter to the sheriffs was that they'd seen a marked improvement and were very impressed with the cleanliness of the jail and other items, which, you know, I think Jackie has a copy of the letter and I or part of the sentence, but, so they noticed an improvement and commented on that. So there has been an MDOC investigation, or inspection, not an investigation, and
Right, but that's in the normal course of business. They
normal
do that.
course of business. And they,
There's no other complaints that have been filed and other investigations that have been opened by whoever.
not that I'm personally aware of, as your counsel said.
Well, I hope you would be the person that'd be aware
I
of
would
them.
hope so, too. Now, I hope you also know that the NCCHC recently.
Alphabet soup.
Yeah, what is
Alphabet
that?
Soup, the National Corrections Health Care Commission, and it's a big deal, but they recently accredited the jail, saying that they met all of the national standards, and that's a really big deal and a very big
Yeah, I
compliment.
know,
to
that
the
was
jail.
the thing when CCS/WellPath got here, is we're gonna get this accreditation.
Yes.
I've been in education and a classroom teacher. I don't know about some of these accreditations, and I'd like to know who's on the board of that accrediting agency. Some of them do a good job, some of them just hand out medallions. So, Madam Chair, in light of the audit of WellPath, CCS, that we received 3-4 months ago, then at some point, we're going to get a judge in settling this, telling us, do this, do that, change this, change that.
We hope not.
Well, we hope not, but what I'm saying, Madam Chair, is I think the commission needs to look at the court decision in the light of the audit to see what the courts have to say, because they're going to be passing judgment in some way on that audit in pointing out deficiencies and things that need improving.
To your point, I wonder if they're even familiar with the audit.
Well,
Are you
I don't know.
familiar with the audit?
But it seems to me that, oh, go ahead.
I have heard of the audit.
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial for you to have the audit, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, I do too, but I also think for the commission itself, and especially since they're dealing with some of the current situations in the jail, and some judges, it's just, what court are we in with this?
It's not in court right now, it's just with the United States Department of Justice.
Doing an investigation.
And they're only doing an investigation. And in our letter to you in the communication, which I didn't memorize, but among the things we said that could possibly happen from here is we're right now just in the fact-finding stage, so it's not in a court.
Right, right. No,
judge.
you mentioned in here, they could say it's beautiful, no violations. They could say this is all the violations. I guess I'd ask Commission Counsel, if I still have her.
She's here.
Once that DOJ report, is that what it'll be?
Or preliminary conclusions
Yeah.
first, yes.
At what point can the commission look at that and kind of do a compare and contrast with the audit to see what kind of issues the DOJ is pointing out? And when does that become something we can have a public discussion about?
Through the chair, I would have to have that conversation with outside counsel and corp counsel.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the stage of where we are in the process of everything has been concluded or not. So I think I would have to have that discussion with them just to ensure that we're not disclosing something that we don't want.
Yeah. So, parameters here.
Yes.
Because the DOJ report might just be another step towards some sort of court action, possibly.
Well, one of the reasons that we work so closely with outside counsel is that's the last scenario
No,
that
no,
we're
I'm
hoping
just
happen.
saying, but what the possibilities are, right?
Yeah, because we hope the steps between would be preliminary conclusions, yay or nay, there are violations. If it's nay, great. If it's yay, let's talk about it.
Well,
So we
that's what
would-
I mean, there will be,
yes,
and
there
so
will
that's
be-
why I'm saying when it's appropriate, because if we get some negative stuff out of DOJ, then you meet in that top secret room in the basement that the committee's meeting in right now that's soundproof and say, okay, how can we work this out, right? And a little horse trading may go on with DOJ for what we're doing. But I do think at the appropriate time, I think it would be good. This has been a great concern for a number of commissioners, what's been happening in the jail. And of course, we have the audit, but we don't get a real good look at it like you're getting now. But I do think at the appropriate time, there needs to be a discussion with the commission as to what everything turned up with the DOJ, how is that mesh with our audit? Are there other things we should be concerned about? Because I think this is always a ripe area for lawsuits to appear. And so for the commission to understand what we really are doing in the jails and what it's like day to day, and are we providing the appropriate treatment, whatever, for people that are our visitors for a relatively short time. So, Madam Chair, I would be looking for that conversation. I don't know when the appropriate time is, but I think we need to have a fuller picture of the legal actions, the audit, how does this all work together, and where are we really at? Because I believe we got a renewal coming up fairly soon with, when is the renewal for WellPath? Next year, I believe, yeah. So, you know, if it's possible to go into that renewal with this kind of enlightenment, you know, so I'll leave it at that for now, but I'm very concerned that we have a large, I would hate for this to all disappear into the bowels of the bureaucracy and the commission never have a real full discussion of what the outcome is and what we've learned from it and what we're doing and how we're doing it different and all that. So I'll leave it right there for now, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to make a real quick comment, and then I'm going to go to Commissioner Basham. Now that we have the auditor in the room with us, I would just make a request that, Marcy, could you send Hernitha the final version of that audit? Okay. Commissioner, thank you very much, ma'am. Commissioner Basham.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think, Madam Chair, that is this the same Michigan Department of Justice that has major problems with their prisons? The same people, well, MDOJ, Michigan Department of Justice.
No.
We're talking feds, strictly feds. All right. Okay, US, it's not MD.
Yeah.
All right, okay, because I couldn't help but think, I've read a lot about and seen a lot about the
State.
DOJ at the state, so
Yeah,
I just would hope that,
they weren't hypocrites over here critiquing
exactly.
us.
So I'll leave my other comments alone, but.
Okay, I have one quick question as it relates to some of the discussion that you had with Commissioner Khalil, as it relates to the complaints that were made into the DOJ and the time frame by which they were made. I know that their questions go back into 15, but I don't think that this started then. This didn't start until WellPath and Correct Care, or maybe it was Correct Care first, then they changed their name to WellPath, if I remember right? So didn't this complaint get launched while Correct Care was here, or did it get launched prior to those contracts?
It was lodged in October 15th of 2018.
Yeah, so Correct Care was already here.
Yes, they were.
Okay, so the complaints didn't start under the old regime. I mean, they're asking you for documentation and
Right.
practices and blah, blah, blah. They're questioning those things from back then. But we didn't go into this thing, because I mean, I was chairing this committee and I seen the contract start coming, so. But it's interesting that it's already at 435,000 and, any end in sight?
Well, two things. I want to say that I want the body to remember that we've never seen the complaints. We asked for them, we've met with them to get them, so we don't really know exactly the dates, the complaint,
Okay.
who made the complaints. The firm tried to get them through their senior partner, Michael Cox. There were discussions, so we've never seen the complaints, so I can't address that. I just want to remind the body that.
Boy, this is going to be a huge financial windfall for the lawyers. That's who's going to benefit from this. Yes.
Everybody answers to somebody, and I agree absolutely with Commissioner Clean. We need to come out of the dark room. We need to have our corp counsel, our commission counsel, and our state or federal legislators. I can talk to Congresswoman Dingell or whoever, Senator Peters, to see if we can bring this to a head, because at the end of the day, this is all taxpayer dollars,
Yep.
spending on taxpayer dollars.
Amen.
Fighting taxpayer dollars. And it's like, so I would hope that we, Wayne County, would send some kind of letter or information to, that we want to resolve this thing. And if we got to go to a federal level to do that, I'm willing to do that.
I think that that's one of the things that the firm is working on now, is bringing closure, because we have complied, we've gone through the visits, we've provided 25,000 pages of documents.
Jeez.
We've done everything that we can. There have been marked improvements, both HHVS and the sheriff have worked very hard to address 49 issues that we didn't even have to, but to address, to make sure, because obviously they care very much for the inmates' care. So the firm, one of the things that they're doing is looking at saying, okay, we've done all this, we would like to be able to wrap it up. We have no control over what the DOJ does, but that is one of the things that they're
I've got
doing.
a lot of time and experience with all types of attorneys throughout my adult life, and if they say hi to you, they charge you a tenth of an hour. And that's a fact, and so, again, my thing is, you can continue to go down this path of what we've complied with. I'm flat out saying we need to resolve this thing.
That's what they're trying to do.
I mean, in a short amount of time, without going through a long, drawn-out, back-and-forth deal with, with the county and Mike Cox with the feds. I think, I think I should, and I think I will, contact my federal legislators and say, what the heck, everybody answers somebody, why don't you check on this and see when we can resolve it. It's all taxpayer dollars that we're actually spending here.
Amen. Amen to that. That's where I was going to. Commissioner Clean.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll just add, Commissioner Bastian, to what you were saying, too. I think, jails and what goes on in them, there's a lot of interest among the citizenry on that, and I do think, which is why I want some discussion here, I think we need a full explanation to the general public, because there's a lot of, people get into a lot of theories about what goes on, and maybe not all of those are accurate. So I think to have a public going over and seeing what we have learned from this. And it could very well be that 48 of those 49 improvements were a result of the audit. I know there's a tremendous amount of recommendations that were made in that audit. But I'll move this for approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I get a motion. Can I get a support? Support. Item's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Basham is a nay vote. And then, so we're on to item 7.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of an agreement with Schoolcraft College.
Yeah, this agreement is to indemnify the county commission and the whole charter county and all of our officials if anybody challenges the Schoolcraft tax that-
approval.
that we just did. Okay. Item's been moved and supported. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
This is what
Here-
came before their.
Yes. Any opposed? No, no. Okay, item passes. Next item?
Item 8 on the addenda, requesting commission approval of a retroactive comparable source agreement with the 1-year option to renew with Blue Water Technologies Group.
Okay, so are you here to talk about Blue Water?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Stacy Johnson, Contract Manager, Department of Information Technology.
Okay, Stacy Johnson, so appreciate you being here on this particular item. Wasn't really happy that you know, we had approved this. We approved the contract for what they did for us, and I know this is one of many things that they do for us and that they worked with. This is this the cameras in our conference rooms downstairs?
Yes.
Well, people are saying yes, some people are saying no.
I'm saying no. This is for the cameras in all the conference room
Okay.
throughout the county as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yes.
So this is for maintenance and support. The commission's contract was to actually purchase the equipment and
Yeah.
the installation, and this is for maintenance and support of all the equipment in the conference rooms out there. So that's the
Correct.
difference. We don't have
Our conference rooms or everybody's conference rooms?
everybody's, including the commissions, but it's just maintenance and support. And I saw Tim coming, he probably wants to.
Okay, okay.
Through the chair, Tim
yes.
Johnson, Director of Administration. This particular contract has nothing to do with the video cameras or the voting system that we've installed in the past several months.
Okay, so doesn't it include the maintenance and support of that contract as well? I mean, that equipment too?
Yes.
It includes that, yeah, but I
Okay.
think the gist of this, if I can speak out of turn, from my understanding is that it handles all the conference rooms throughout the Guardian building that the county occupies.
Yeah, it does, but it will include the ones that we're doing too, including ours. The ones that we're in the process of doing, yes. Okay, that's what I'm hearing from them.
That one up there,
So,
yep.
yeah, because we're all together in this operation. I didn't want it to be that way, to be honest with
These
you. but-
these microphones that were installed like last year, I believe is part of it too.
Right, so this contract is for maintenance of all of Blue Waters equipment in the administrative side and on the legislative side, and including the new stuff that we've put in. So I get that. My question then is, you know, which is only because we have you here in the same firm and I have Tim here. What's the status of our equipment that they're going to be maintaining through this contract? What's the status of our equipment?
This conference room is currently working. The chambers will be completed next week.
Okay, so in time for the new year, hopefully we'll have them all up and running. I figured once that park deal was done, we'd get it all set up. But okay, great. I'm glad that it will be. And anybody have any questions as it relates to maintaining these? Yes.
Yeah, I want to follow up on your question, Madam Chair.
Sure.
So what's the plan for the commission going live? What kind of time frame is there going to be when the commission meetings and the committee meetings are available to the public?
Well, they're available.
They're currently available right now.
Well,
On
I know,
YouTube.
but I
And you can't-
went to the YouTube and reposted one, and I was told they're not ready, even though they're on YouTube, they're not ready for public consumption.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten like an official, okay, we're up, we're running, we're live.
That's
But
going to be
that-
next week when we're totally official. Right now, you can
Okay.
still access them, but
So we're
we're
totally
waiting to do
official
the,
next week?
yes.
Okay.
Next full board.
And aside from YouTube, where are these videos going?
YouTube is it.
So, and I know, in my request, when we originally requested the amendment to the rule and transparency, was that they would be made available to local access channels, and that if they were willing to carry our content, which most of them would love our content, because then the communities could know, like when we're doing road work or passing park things that affect their communities, they would know about it. So I was pushing for that, though, as you know, they voted against our amendment to the rules, so this is being done informally through the chair. So to his question, you know, what do we got to do to make them available to our locals?
They can access them off of YouTube like anyone else.
No, we want to be able to play them on their local access channel. Is it? And I'm not a technology guru, and maybe Commissioner Kling's might understand it better than I do, but we do have the technology people here. What would it take to get our committee meetings that we're just putting on YouTube right now over to them?
To be honest, I'm not a technical person.
Oh,
I
okay.
would have to check with the Chief Information Officer, Carlos Perez.
Yeah.
But I can definitely address this question to him and then respond to you after he answers.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, because I agree, because, you know, senior citizens, there's a lot of people that don't even have access or know how to use YouTube. You know, my mother's 84 years old, she had no clue what YouTube's about. But, so I think that if you put it on a local access channel, I mean, if the locals obviously the locals would have to want it. But I really do think they'd be interested in our content. I know on my local cable TV channels, they have a picture of the sign that says the bake sales at St. Linus for, 15 minutes on there because you're just got some dead air, So and what we do affects them. And it would make us way more accessible to the public than just going through the YouTube channel. Yes, Commissioner
On
Clayton.
that, Madam Chair, I do think, I'm going to suggest that we have more of a plan and to make it available in whatever form to local access cable, because I think if it's just on YouTube, we will fall, we will get the criticism that, yeah, you're putting it up there, but you can't find it. It is difficult to find what's put up there right now. And so, I don't want to spend all this money on equipment and the yearly maintenance, only to have people say, you're not transparent, you're not right, because I get that already. And I have to tell people, no, that article's from 8 months ago. We've approved the money and we're going to be up and running. But I think you're right. Grandma may not know about YouTube, but she knows her local cable access station.
And they watch it.
So I don't know if that's for a conversation here really, but I do think it can't be that difficult. There's only X number of media outlets that have public access in the county. I don't see it's enormously either expensive or difficult to say to them, hey, and I don't know if it would be directly from us or if they would take it from YouTube and then play. I don't know. But I think I would like that we would have
From my
more of an
limited-
outreach.
If I can interject,
Sure,
Commissioner.
absolutely.
From my limited research on this, various communities have different technology. Some are still using analog,
Right.
like with a VHS tape.
Everybody's got a budget.
So I imagine the more advanced ones could probably take our feeds off of YouTube and rebroadcast them on their own.
Well, and what I'm suggesting here is that we have that contact. And then they can tell us, no, we can't use it, we can't use it. And I don't know then if there's another format we could give them to them in, that they could use them. But I think that has to be done. Now, whether they take it or not, and as you know, we've had this conversation. I don't anticipate tens of thousands of people out there watching commission meetings. But I think for the, to truly say we've done our best job to making this available to the public, I think we need, for the transparency and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to do all of this and then people say you're still hiding. So I don't know how difficult it is, sounds like about 20 emails to me.
Right.
Around to whoever has public access saying, hey, we're doing this, do you want it? Is the format right? And then we can let people decide whether they want to put it on their local or not.
And I think that's an excellent suggestion, if I may. And going back to a comment that was made earlier, Conference of Western Wayne and the Downriver Conference would be great places to do presentations to 17, and we still have to get it everywhere, but I'm just saying, you kill a lot of birds with one stone right there. You get 14 in one group and 17 in another group, and say, to work with them and say, are you interested and how can we get this information to you? And I'm sure, having worked in the telecommunications industry with municipalities, with government, they have the resources to do it, so.
Well, and I just want to, if I may, Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
just want to be able to say, yep, we offered it to all the cable stations, and if I hear from Detroiter, it's like, yep, Detroit's picked it up and it's going to be on there. Or we offered it to Detroit local cable and they decided, no, they weren't going to do it. That is some sort of an answer.
I agree.
And not like, well, I don't know why,
Right.
So that's why I recommend that. If people pick them up, they pick them up. If they don't, they don't. But I think we're incumbent to do as much as we can to have it out there.
I agree.
Noted.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move
Thank
this
you.
for approval, Madam
Appreciate
Chair.
it. Got a motion?
That is a motion.
I mean, I said I got a motion, I need a
Oh, you
support.
do? I'm supporting it.
No,
I don't know.
I said I got your motion, now I need a
Oh,
support.
I see. Well, support it
You guys
too.
chime in?
What the heck?
Support?
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay, thank you. Item's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Item passes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Full service commissioner. I move them, I support them, full service.
You rock.
Yeah.
Okay, any such other matters that need to be brought before the board? Any such other matters? Hearing none. Any public comments? Any member of the public that would like to make a comment? Any member of the public? Seeing none. Next item. Thank you. Support? Support. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much for your participation.
The chair has the authority under Robert's rules, just to say without exception, without, is that right? No, without.
Contested, without being contested, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the word they throw in there? Without objection.
Without objection.
Stand adjourned.
Oh, okay.
And then if somebody wants to say, oh,
Okay, they
then
can.
you can stare them down.
Oh. Okay. Pardon? Oh. Oh, so you did need a motion? Oh, okay. Well, you got,
Well, okay, so somebody can say, I move
thank you.
adjournment,
Thank you, Joe.
and then the chair says, without objection.
Thank you, Ray.
stand adjourned.
For your good questions and your good suggestions. Conference questions.
And I think we know how to get hold of the Conference West Wayne, I think we know their executive director pretty well. Commissioner Murphy's daughter.
So glad you were down.
Water Brothers. Harry has been at DCC forever.
I don't know if anybody knows this.
We should bring it to a head.
He was working for the Democratic Party and now he's on to one of the big,
What the heck's going on?
maybe the same.
What do you
they
mean?
call mayors,
Here it
that's
is.
all Lansing.
What's in this? Yeah, because I
At the federal level?
it's a money
Yeah,
train.
it is.
Does he know Tate?
You know what? Yeah, he was down here for the.
He was.
Yeah, when we.
And we're friends on Facebook.